What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Conversation Piece podcast, your place to discover the untold stories of Indianapolis through the perspectives of all its creative people. My name is Madeline, filling in for Patrick this week, and I'm excited to be here in 2025, the year of community. My guest today is Patrick Armstrong. Welcome to your own podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
100%.
Yeah. I'm going to do a quick intro of Patrick. Patrick is my friend, first and foremost. And so it was kind of hard to write this intro about you because I know you, I see your work. I also see you behind the scenes.
Sure.
And I know that you're a very aligned person. So it's like, there's just so much good to say. And I want to start by just saying thank you for doing this. Like, creating this space. You receive the praise so nonchalantly because you're so like grounded and not egotistical, which is great.
I'm trying to learn how to take compliments.
I just want you to know how thankful I am, but also just how thankful everybody in this city is. Like, it's felt and it's unifying, and that's really rare. So thank you. But let me just do a quick little intro of you.
That means a lot. Thank you for saying that.
So Patrick is a storyteller in the truest, most human sense. At the intersection of vulnerability and clarity, his work pulses with a desire to understand and to help others be understood. A transracial Korean-American adoptee, Patrick moves through the world with a sensitivity honed by lived experience, a deep, deep empathy for liminal spaces, and a steady commitment to using story as a tool for healing, connection, and social repair. His gift lies in the ability to hold nuance. He is both the voice and the container. Whether he's behind a microphone hosting a podcast, facilitating a workshop, or moderating a panel, Patrick brings a rare quality of presence. He doesn't just ask questions, he opens portals. What sets him apart isn't polish, it's presence. And in a world addicted to noise, Patrick offers a steady hum of clarity, care, and cultural consciousness. He's building more than a platform. He's cultivating a community where people can be seen, heard, and perhaps more whole. Again, welcome to your show.
God damn, Madeline. Now I have to up my intros.
No. Nope. No pressure. This is just, that's true. It's true. It's true about you. And it's evident in your conversations, also just in the person that you are on and off the podcast.
I don't even know really how to respond to that.
You don't have to respond.
Thank you. Wow, that was, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not that. Thank you.
Well, it's true. So
I appreciate you.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, I want people to know who you are in essence. And so I'm hoping that that's what this conversation can be, is that we can get to know who Patrick is.
All right.
I think that like people know your accomplishments and what you do.
Have I accomplished anything?
Give me a fucking break. You're insane.
Based on what you just read, I would say that I must have done something good. So, or done something right.
Well, and this is the thing. The work that you do flows from the person that you are. And so you're doing this work because it's who you are, you know, like you're not, this is not fake. And so I want to get into some of those things. I want to get into your inner landscape, what you're thinking about. And so that's what I'm hoping we can do today.
For sure.
Cool.
100%.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. I mean, honestly, like I'm still like tripping over the things you just said and wrote. And you like wrote about liminal spaces and like opening portals. And I'm just like, it honestly, I feel like I viewed that from a third person perspective. And I think that's why I'm having trouble like wrapping my hands around it, because I'm just like, is that me? Yeah. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. Well, and I want to start by actually just saying too, I already said I want to start by. I realize I'm going to probably keep saying that every new topic. I'm going to start by. Well, so I guess I'm just curious, like, how are you? Like, you've been doing so much community work, but and from a perspective of care too, like not just you're not doing it for the clout. You're not doing it to prove something. You're doing it because it's genuine. And when that happens, I think often like there's people experience burnout, but you're still here. And I'm just curious how you are. If you could just be a little bit vulnerable for a minute around how you really are doing.
Sure. So I was walking to the bathroom right before we started this, and I literally was thinking, if Madeline asked me how I'm doing, I'm going to be honest. And to be honest, I am really tired right now. I'm feeling really emotional, to be honest. I feel like I don't know, just I think the weight of the world is a lot. And I feel like everything that you said made me feel settled in a way that I feel like I've not felt for a while, mostly because of the world, but also because I'm navigating parenthood and I'm trying to be a better partner. I'm just trying to be my most whole self, and to balance all of those things, I think is difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And as somebody who is pursuing creative expression as a career, I think the struggle of not knowing what I'm doing from a business perspective has been a lot recently, and feeling like I'm not doing enough or I'm not doing things right.
Yeah.
And so, again, like your intro is just making me feel settled. And I feel like I just feel like the world is a lot right now, and I'm trying to find appropriate amounts of rest, and not just rest for rest's sake, but rest to recharge so I can keep doing stuff, you know? And I'm feeling in the same breath as I am very tired, I am also very inspired by a lot of people. I was at 16 Tech the other day, and I ran into some folks from Gang Gang, Nigel and Mitchell, and they were doing the launch lab. So they're like, it's a 6-week program for young creatives in the city to learn how to do business stuff and build out a business plan and pitch your thing.
That's
and
really cool.
I just happened to be working out of 16 Tech and saw them, and they asked me to come up and just share a little bit. And I got to hear what the kids were working on. And I was just like, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
And why I want to continue to do it. Yeah. Because these young folks out here are doing it, and that makes me feel like I don't have any reason not to. So in the same breath as being very tired, I'm also inspired to take appropriate rest so I can continue to act. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I can resonate with a few things that you said. I think it's really brave of you to just admit that, Thanks. I think that that's probably some of the dissonance between where people begin doing work, keep doing work, and then just burn out. It's like you don't acknowledge your tiredness, and you don't stop to pause and recognize where you're at. And the fact that you just did that is really brave. And also just that you're inspired. That those two things, back to what I said about you being able to hold nuance, those things can feel like they're in opposition. Yeah. Especially when you think about cultural norms for what inspiration should look like or be like or feel like, that it should be productive, that it should look like, a certain thing. And in the fact that you are able to hold both, I'm tired and I'm still inspired is really, really cool. I think you should rap about it, actually.
I mean, those things do rhyme.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's a good place to start. Yeah. Because I have been feeling, especially the weight of the world. And I feel like I already talk a lot, and I feel like I've just been spouting off at the mouth on social media a little bit. And it's just because things are so bad. And I also hold a lot of privilege as a cis straight male, even though I'm Asian and not white. Who did grow up in white spaces with a white family and proximity to whiteness. I feel like I got to utilize that in some way. And doing that makes me tired. Staying caught up on the world and what's happening makes me tired. And I know that I will never be as tired as the people suffering under the oppression of the stuff that's happening right now. So
I'm curious, you've been asking people a lot about where they come from, what their background is. I'm curious specifically what 6-year-old Patrick would have to say to you right now.
Oh, interesting. 6-year-old Patrick. Well, I think 6-year-old Patrick.
Wait. What clothes is he wearing first? Because I feel like that's important.
Oh, well, I think if you go on my Instagram, you can find me in a cool retro fit with cool Nike shoes. Cool. I don't know that I ever wore cool clothes when I was growing up, but at that point in time, I think I had a cool fit on.
Love.
when do you go to like kindergarten or first grade? When do you start that? Is that, how old are you? I think you gotta be like 10, right?
Yeah. Well, a little younger maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. 6?
Yeah.
I think at 6, what would 6-year-old me say to me now?
Yeah.
I don't even know that he would realize that is a version of him that is a possibility. Like,
Wow.
6-year-old me for sure was already fully bought into like just being the kid in the circumstance that I was in. Like, I don't know, like this is kind of an interesting question to answer. So like, I guess to just, if you don't know, like I was adopted from Korea. I grew up in Rensselaer, Indiana. It's about an hour and a half north of here or north of Indianapolis. And it's a predominantly white community, rural Indiana. And my parents are white. Well, the rest of my family was white. I do have a younger sister, also adopted from Korea, not biologically related to me. But I think like I was already experiencing, I had a loving family and I had a lot of that love and a lot of that support. And I think I was also already experiencing the things that would lead me to reject being Asian.
Yeah.
I did not, 6-year-old me does not know that, but I think 6-year-old me is also like those building blocks are already formed.
Yeah.
And so I think like that's where that, I don't know that I would even recognize or even be aware that is a possible person that I could become because that was so far afield from what at that time, what I would think, I could be as an adult. At that time, I probably thought that an adult was they worked on the farm or they drove a semi or they worked at the restaurant in town. And they had, they were married and had 2 kids in a house and, that's where you lived. That's what you did.
Yeah. Like the norms.
The American dream.
Yeah.
That's how I always think about it.
Yeah.
It was like, that's what I was fed growing up.
Viola Davis, I heard this quote yesterday. She talks about, she says, you only owe something to 2 people. And it's 6-year-old you and it's 80-year-old you.
Okay.
And so I'm curious now what like 80-year-old you would say to Patrick. How old are you?
35.
So what did I say 80? Yeah, 80-year-old you would say to 35-year-old you.
I think 80-year-old me would say, don't give up. I think part of being tired is also like, I've been having intrusive thoughts about like, man, what if I just didn't do any of this stuff?
Yeah.
I think it's making me emotional because I don't want to give up. Yeah. But I think it's like easy to do that.
Yeah.
So I think me in the future is definitely saying, stay the course because like your life is built on running away. So
wow.
Yeah. And we haven't been doing that for 5 years. So like, let's not start it now or let's not start doing it again now.
You talk about your journey starting at 30.
Yeah. My identity journey for sure.
That's a lot of life to have lived. And then for you to be so willing to just vulnerably, not only with your own identity journey, but like to carry the identity journeys of other people too. I don't know if you realize how much like other people's stories and that weight and impact of them can transfer onto you.
Oh, for sure.
And so like when you're sitting here in this seat, listening, you're not just having a cool conversation. You're truly like holding space for that other person's identity as well.
For sure.
And so the fact that in 5 years you've done this much work, not only like from an external vantage point, but like internally in your internal landscape. And so it sounds to me too, like 6-year-old you maybe didn't have a reference point or an expanded imagination for what now you would look like.
100%.
And I guess I'm curious, like, so what shifted to where you now have this kind of imagination for the work you can do in the world? Like, what happened during that space? Do you know what I mean?
A lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. So if you listen to the John Chi Show, you've definitely heard many versions of the story. So essentially, in the adoptee community, like critical thinking about your identity or what it means to be adopted. Some people call it like you being in the fog. Some people call it like you live the status quo. Like the status quo is the dominant narrative of adoption, and the dominant narrative of adoption is that everything about adoption is positive. Like there is only positive aspects. So that's how I lived for those 30 years. And then in April of 2020, the pandemic kicked off. Part of the pandemic kicking off was an increased violent rhetoric and then actual physical violence against Asian people, specifically East Asian folks. And then in addition to that, we were seeing highly publicized state violence against Black folks, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, many names.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, my wife, or Emily, and I we were living in Chicago. And at the start of the pandemic, it was like, okay, we can still run on the lake. It's all good. We can access this. And then the lake shut down. So we were like, okay, we're trapped now. And we had been thinking about moving back to Indy anyways. Okay. And so we made the move. We got really lucky and found a place to rent. And that was 5 times the size of our apartment in Chicago. Same price. So it was awesome. So we moved back. And then in June, so we've been back for a month. In June, all of these things in society were happening. And one night we were on the couch and we had been talking about like what it would look like to have kids and like what our family would look like. We were engaged at the time. And as we were doing that, we're also looking for something to watch. And we came across the movie Always Be My Maybe. So it's an Asian American rom-com starring Ali Park and Randall Wong. Hilarious movie. And,
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. However, during the opening of that movie, it starts with like a flashback, and I don't know what it was about the particular scene, but the conversation that I was having with Emily, in addition to everything that was happening in society, in addition to the 30 years of absolute rejection of being Asian.
The layers there.
Something about the scene clicked a switch in my head, and I thought to myself, like, I don't know what it means to be Asian. And I looked at Emily and I said, how am I going to teach our kids to navigate the world as Asian when I don't know how to do that?
Wow.
And I don't know that we had a conversation about it, but we watched the movie and went to bed. And the next day I woke up and I was like that was still there. Yeah. So like that question clearly had unsettled something inside of me. Yeah. I was a big podcast consumer at the time. And so I opened up Apple Podcasts and I just typed in Asian American and I found a show called Dear Asian Americans. And I listened to that show. And that moment and then the Always Be My Maybe moment were like my first time critically thinking about myself as Asian. And I reached out to the guest on that first episode because I was so moved by what they had talked about. And I sent him a cold email and just said, hey, I was adopted. I don't know what it means to do this. I'm looking for some guidance. And I don't know why I keep looking at the camera. And he very kindly the next day responded back. And he was like, thanks for sharing. I am not adopted, but I have a colleague who is, and they did a study about that experience. And he's like, I've attached it for you if you're interested. And so I read the study, and it was called Too Korean to Be White, Too White to Be Korean. And it was a study about critical identity formation of 12 Korean adoptees who grew up in the Midwest. Wow. So like me. And so 30 minutes into reading this, I was like weeping at my computer. And I was like, why am I crying at this scholastic piece of paper? And it was because I was seeing my story out loud outside of my own head for the first time. And it wasn't me saying it. Like it was somebody else. Yeah. And so that moment was like when I started to critically think about what it meant to be adopted and to be an adoptee. And so like, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but like that was like, that's the start. So there's a framework, identity framework called the adoptee consciousness model. And that's what I use to describe my experience. And so for me, those moments were moments of rupture that led me to like come to consciousness about my identity. Okay. And so that was the springboard that kind of led me to where we are today. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, do you feel like reading that book, reading that experience from outside of yourself? I know for me, that experience, I had a similar experience for my own self and my own skin and my own identity. It just felt validating. Like there was something in me that like didn't know if I was allowed to validate my experience. 100%. Or like if I was being legit. 100%. Do you know what I mean? Because the dominant narratives of your identity or your communities were telling you that it wasn't valid. And then you probably had people in your life telling you that it wasn't valid as well. And up until that point, were you in pretty much
like white communities.
100%.
Yeah.
I was only comfortable in those spaces.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, I went to Ball State for a semester, chirp, chirp. And then I transferred to Purdue because I was going home every weekend to see my family, to see my friends. I wasn't staying in Muncie.
I went home every weekend during college.
Yeah. And, but I was just like, I'm spending too much time doing this. So I'm just going to transfer. And so I transferred to Purdue. And that was my first time really being around a bunch of other Asian people. And the first time I ever like talked to other like Korean people specifically, and I told them that I was adopted, they told me that I wasn't really Asian. And so like, it wasn't just that I had kind of internalized that from my environment growing up, even though hearing that from like my friends growing up, it's like, oh, you're like the whitest Asian person I know, you're not really Asian. I was now hearing this from other Asian people. Wow. And so that affirmed in me that I wasn't Asian, that I clearly wasn't. So deepened the rejection. Yeah. And so, yeah, like I forced myself into white spaces because it didn't feel like I was welcome in the other ones. Yeah.
So like, what do you love about Korea?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if there's a lot that I love at the moment.
Okay.
Let's see. One thing that I really love, so I've had the privilege of going back twice in the last couple of years. And I think the thing that I really love is that when I'm there, I can just exist a little bit on the street and like I look like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm pretty tall, which I found out a lot of Koreans are tall now. So I feel like that stereotype out the window.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I really like because I've gotten a chance to experience it for myself.
The feeling of like you can drop your shoulders.
Yeah. I can take the mask off.
Yeah.
Because I learned how to put a mask on when I was really, really young. And I don't think that I ever took it off until I was 31, 32.
And like, I just want to acknowledge, like, when you say you're tired, it's like,
yeah, that's part of it. 100% that's part of it.
You were literally like doing work for, that's just insane to me.
Yeah.
I feel really proud of you. Like,
thank you. I'm proud of myself for being able to be at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I like about it. I have like a lot of trouble connecting with Korean culture and things like that. I just got my own blocks that I'm trying to overcome. But like right now, like there's so much coming out about the adoption system there and all of the fraud and abuse that happened. And literally as I was on my way here, I got a new article from the Washington Post that my friend sent about another adoptee who has found out all of these like falsities and the stuff with their records. And it's just like it's pretty fucked. And like, I'm angry. Like I'm really angry at the country. And obviously not all of its people, but like when I think of Korea, like I'm angry first.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to like,
it's hard to think about what you love. Yeah.
And I also have not had the privilege of spending like a lot of time there. So I'm arm's length at best. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
So when you like, I feel like from the outside looking in, even though I'm also like a behind the scenes person, you're intaking so much information and then processing it and trying to offer healing, whether it's through the form of content or conversations like this. Like you're constantly like in this ebb and flow of like receiving, processing, externalizing, receiving, processing, externalizing. And I guess I'm curious, like that space before you receive the information, like, what do you do to care for yourself while you're like learning about all these things that are happening in the world?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I just want to touch on something. I don't know that I'm doing healing for people. I think I'm providing context. And so
I think you are doing healing.
Well, I appreciate that.
Because that's actually the first step in the healing journey is like, let's contextualize.
Sure. Well, and like you said something earlier and this just brought it back up for me, but like one of the reasons I do this, like, and operate in this medium is one, because that's the platform that I received and that I was able to learn to share my story. But two is like doing this, I really learned the privilege of like somebody sharing anything with you. And like, that's what I consider to be the privilege of storytelling. It's the receiver being on the receiving end. And like hearing all of these people that I've been able to talk to over the last 5 years share their story, the biggest thing I learned is that their experiences provide context for my experience.
For your experience, yeah.
It's not that I think we live in a culture of like comparison and competition. And I think when we hear other people's experiences, it's like we want that. And it's either we become jealous or envious or whatever the case might be. And I've definitely done that as well.
Yeah.
And like what I've learned is like, oh, this is like their experience helps me better understand what I've went through in mine.
I heard you talk about that.
Yeah. So that's why I consider it context instead of healing, because I don't know. I would never want somebody to misconstrue, like to be harmed by what I've shared. And if they are, I need to know that because I need to understand better about like what I'm sharing, how I'm sharing it. And I'm not responsible for other people's feelings. And like I am responsible for information that I put out there. And if that's having an impact on somebody that is antithetical to the impact that I'm hoping that it has to my intent, then I need to examine that in myself.
Yeah.
So that's why I consider it.
Well, I appreciate
context.
that. I appreciate that like awareness of you. I just also want to say like what I experienced when I came on as a guest of this podcast was absolutely healing. And it wasn't like you're not this like magical fairy that like has, but like you just being a presence. And also the fact that you like, I think that you know this, but like the intro, when you introduce somebody on this show, somebody hearing your articulation or like story of them is so powerful, because I think people walk away being like, oh, like I actually am that. Right. I just maybe don't know it or don't say it out loud.
I mean, I just experienced it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like, I think it's not that you're like this magical human.
Right.
You do though create this presence that allows people to enter into like, who am I though? And like, what is my story though? And like, what are these dots in my life that maybe are disconnected?
Yeah. I appreciate it.
So like, I hear you, you're not this, like, I hear you saying like, you don't want to carry that pressure either.
Sure.
Like,
well, I appreciate that people can receive it as healing. But as I define it, I think I define it as context.
More context. Yeah, that's totally fair.
It's like coming out of me as context, but how people intake it can be however they want to intake it, which is awesome. How I take care of myself before I'm receiving information is a great question. I don't know that I've been very good at that recently. If I were to choose, like basketball is my number one form of relief, in addition to actual therapy. Yeah. But like therapy for sure. Shout out to my therapist. Like that has been a saving grace last 2 years. Like if I were not in therapy, I don't know that I might be here right now.
Wow. That's so real.
And basketball has always been that for me. And I've been really lucky in my identity journey and like trying to like figure out where I belong and where I fit into Asian America to have stumbled across a bunch of Asian dudes that play basketball and now have been playing with them for the last 3.5 years.
That's really cool.
Like those are like, I've told Emily multiple times, especially right after Van was born, it's like, I need to get back in the gym. Like I'm feeling like, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. Just stuck in a way. And like the basketball is like the way for me to release a little bit, even in ways that I can't in therapy.
Totally.
It's because it's obviously
embodiment
physical
too. Yeah.
Embodiment. That's
you're letting, and there's like energetic flow that you're allowing to be released from yourself. And like, yeah, that's really powerful.
Well, I'm ultra competitive too. And I'm like doing that on the court and so I'm like yelling in pickup and guys are like, bro, you need to calm down. And I won't calm down. I will continue to be up here. But that's like my, that's literally where like, I forget that I'm a parent, like sometimes, or I'm a partner. Like when I'm on the court, even in pickup, like I'm hooping. Like that's the only thing I'm thinking about.
It transports you.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't really have a lot of things that do that, especially because like, I do feel that in a sense when I'm having conversations for the show. But like, I can't escape my own lived experience because I'm using that to have the conversation.
No, and like when you're listening, you're listening and you're like, wait, me too. And like,
but like, it's the flow state. Like I get into the flow state of the conversation and that's how I feel when I'm on the court a lot of times. So that's how I would consider self-care. Like that's what I've got
therapy,
for me.
embodiment. Yeah. What like, how would you say your body has been responding to like the things that are happening in the world?
Well, I have really high blood pressure right now. So I've been testing that, trying to get that down. Again, I'm adopted. And so like I've been to the doctor a few different times of establishing care in the past couple of weeks. And when you're adopted, like if, especially internationally, you probably don't have the records of your family.
Wow.
You don't have any medical history. And so when the doctor asks you, and the nurses and everybody in the establishment asks you multiple times, well, do you have a history of high blood pressure? And you have to say over and over again, well, no, I don't. I was adopted. Like, you think that would get marked on the form and they would stop asking that. And it's like, oh crap, like, I don't know. I don't have that information. And I'm like, is this genetic? Is this an issue? Am I going to pass this on to my kid now that I'm a parent? So like, my body, I feel like I've had a lot of stress and anxiety for the last forever, but particularly in the last year, and trying to like work through the 30 years of it over the last 5 years. And I feel like that has been, I think I've always been anxious in that way. I think I'm just really aware of it now. Yeah. And like, I was having headaches for a minute, and just like different signals that my body was telling me that I don't think I ever listened to before I really got into therapy. Yeah. But like, just since turning 30 and starting this journey, like, I've been like, oh, I need to be going to the doctor. Like, I need to be checking myself. And
where do you carry stress in your body?
Like for me, it's my shoulders. Head and neck and shoulders.
Head, neck, and shoulders. Yeah.
Like apparently my calves, you were at the pod lab, you saw my left calf cramp up in the middle of our thing. Hilarious. But ouch. Like definitely shoulders and neck. Like, I'm a big neck cracker. And
I noticed that.
I have a friend who I grew up with, still my best friend, but he's always told me, he's like, you need to stop doing that. And I still do it to this day. But like, I never thought that was because of something. Yeah. And now I'm like, that's a lot of stress that I'm cracking out. And that's why I feel so good, I think. Even though it may not be good for me, it feels good because I think it's like I'm cracking the stress back into place or whatever. Yeah.
So like, I want to know too, when you talk about like being tired, what is the last time that you actually felt rested? And like, also, how do you rest now? Like truly, not just like, maybe it is like binging something on Netflix, but like a true rest, you know what I mean? Like, is it like, obviously you're talking about basketball, but like, is there something that like really activates this state of like, I am at rest? Like, I'm actually like peaceful right now. And if there's not, that's okay. But I'm just curious.
Well, this is probably not a good answer, but when I smoke weed, I feel pretty at rest.
Totally fair. So real for so many people. But that's been my advice
for a long time. So I don't know if that's a good answer. I don't know the last time that I felt well rested. I think the last time I got good sleep was... I don't even know when that was. I think being a parent now has definitely made it feel like I don't know what that is. Right. Which is fine because I'm like, I'm all about being a parent. Like, I wanted to do that. And like, I'm like, I don't need to fucking sleep. I don't even know this kid is alive. Even though I do want to sleep. What makes me feel in that state of rest? I will say, when I first get home and maybe Emily's gone or Van's at daycare, or just like the house is empty. When I first get back from like, it's like 3, we've done the recording or I've done a thing, or it's like 8, everybody's asleep and I'm coming back from an event. I will say that first like 30 minutes is probably when I feel the most rested because I feel like I've exhausted my social capacity. I've probably exhausted my intellectual capacity in some stance because I can't shut up and stop talking about stuff.
Which is also a strength of yours. So just want you to recognize that too.
But I feel like like that moment post like being in community is when I feel most at rest because I feel like I've just like fulfilled what it is that I need to fulfill. Yes. Also, actually, in addition to that, when Van goes to sleep, I think right after that, even though I might be super frustrated that it took so long to get him to sleep, I do feel a sense of peace that even if I might not go to sleep for another 4 hours, like that feels very restful to me.
What's your relationship like with Van?
Right now, he's big into the word no. So it's a little confrontational,
Love that for him, though.
Yeah, no's not a bad word, as I just saw on some content earlier today. So I agree. I don't really know how to describe it. It's like, I feel like it's weird to say, but it's like, I feel like he's like one of my best friends. Obviously we spend so much time together, but like, I just feel like, I don't know. And I think it's because, and I'm about to get emotional, it's because I never had a biological relationship. There's something inherent in there that just binds us. And I don't really know. I don't know how to describe it, but that's what it is.
Yeah. You're just connected.
Yeah. Like Michael Herrick talked about, he said it's hard. He feels like it's almost offensive to tell somebody what it's like to be a parent who doesn't have kids yet.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's hard to
really
understand.
Hard. Yeah, it's hard to describe. Yeah.
And I totally agree. I feel like when I get put on the spot with parenting questions, I'm like, don't really know.
Yeah.
So I would say it's something unspoken, like some sort of like unseen, intangible bond is how I feel about our relationship, which is not a great descriptor, but that's what it is.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's great.
I've only met him like twice, but he's
super happy, except when he's not happy.
Except when he's telling you no.
Yeah, and he's like super advanced in a lot. Like he's talking a lot. Like the dude can read out of his books.
Wow.
He's 17 months old.
Are you serious?
And he can look at a word on the thing and read
child.
It. Wild.
That is such oldest child energy.
And like,
that's amazing.
It is really, really incredible to just watch him be.
Yeah, and grow. Yeah. That's really, really cool. Yeah. I think it's like, it's cool to see you in these different roles too. Like, you're a partner, you're a dad, you are a conversation facilitator, you're a community person.
If I got snot running down my nose the entire time, you better edit that out.
Like, where do you feel the most alive?
Oh, as a dad, 100%.
As a dad,
yeah, like, well, because I feel like being a parent makes me very aware of the passage of time, and so like I have no choice but to be alive and maximize every moment.
You're present.
Yeah, and like easy answer for sure. Like I can't even honestly think of anything. I'm like trying to think of another thing, and I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Not even close. Not even a close second.
Yeah. Who are your people right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Who are my people right now? I feel like I got a lot of people. Actually, you know what? It's funny that you asked me this question because this is something else I was thinking about before I walked in here. I feel like I have a lot of people right now, and I don't shout out some people, but I do want to say that I feel like I struggled so long with wanting to be accepted that I feel like since I've been doing indie stuff, indie has really embraced me. And I feel like because I've struggled with that for so long, I've been keeping people at arm's length for some reason. And like, I don't know what that's about. And I'm trying to like overcome that.
That's
but huge. I'm just like, I was just thinking, I was like, man, everybody is like pouring into me. And I feel like I'm over here like, I don't know what to do with all this. And so, and that's been like literally almost every single person that in indie in particular that I've come into contact with, but especially in my other communities, like, I've got some really, really great people. So just off the top of my head, like shout out to Liz Kleinrock and Alicia Bennett, two of my Korean adoptee community members, but also two of my really great friends. These two, John and Mike, y'all been riding with me for the show since we started doing this in 2024. And I feel like have helped me in a myriad of ways to elevate and do things with the show, but also to just talk about shit outside of that. I got to shout out Murdoch because, he's just been that dude 100%. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of people. I want to shout out Ryan Hunley too. I feel like he has been
what a guy,
a really amazing person and friend to me in the last like year or so. There's a lot of people.
There's a Murdoch quote that you said during the podcast that I was on. Is it something like storytelling is at the heart of our liberation? Or what was the
I'm pretty sure he says that storytelling. Wait.
I know, I can't remember the exact verbiage.
Yeah, it is something like that. Storytelling lies at the heart of our liberation or something.
Yeah.
It's on his TEDx talk on YouTube. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Episode 80.
Yeah.
It's in the link in the links there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like that. And that's why I love storytelling so much. And like the form of storytelling that I've partaken, because it was my opportunity to free myself from the bonds of the dominant narratives of adoption, the stereotypes of being Asian and Asian American, the model minority myth, like, and even like the self-limiting beliefs that I had placed on myself because of those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like storytelling and sharing my piece has been like the key to unlocking my whole self.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's also so true, even psychologically, like when you verbalize something, the way that you're on a neurological level, even the way that your brain becomes rewired around like, oh, this is what's true. And so it's important then, like, I love this. Recently I've just really honed in on like my writing craft. Really loving
I've been watching, I've been seeing.
And one of the things that I was thinking really like deeply about yesterday was this idea that words create worlds. So like the words
for sure
that you tell yourself, and that's, well, so like, that's true on a external level, like the world around us. I'm also just like really resonating with the whole, like also what's going on in my inner world and like what worlds am I creating within myself? So like, am I creating a world of hatred toward myself or like strong inner critic or misalignment? Like, and I'm curious, like what world you need to create for yourself right now internally, given all of the shit that's happening.
Yeah. I think the world that I am creating for myself is, man, you got some good questions in here. What world am I creating for myself internally? I feel like the world is, so the thing I was thinking about when you were just saying that is like, we contain multitudes. I don't remember who said that, but like
Corey says that a lot.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I feel like the world inside me is. It's everything. And it's the world is where all of the good and the bad and the neutral all exist in the same space.
Yes.
Because for a long time, I tried to make it where only the good existed. And when the bad was happening, like I didn't understand it. And I also didn't want to do the work of trying to. Like trying to understand it, like learning, like just reading a book. I didn't want to do that because I was so unsettled in myself.
Totally.
And so the world inside me, the world that I want to create, not only internally, but externally, is a world that recognizes and makes space for everything and understands that, again, to this question of community, like even we're all part of the community of humanity. That doesn't mean that we are all meant to do the exact same thing, look the same way, operate or think the same way. And that's okay. And like, that's the world that I want my kid to live in. And like the thing that one of the things I've been struggling with, like thinking about the future is like, man, my kid might be somebody way different than I hoped or expected because I've been like manifesting 6'4", 220 first round draft pick by the Pacers. So putting that on record real quick.
Man, no pressure.
No pressure. But yeah, like he might not do any of that. And like I have to be okay with that, you know? And I think that right there is the micro of the macro world that I want to create.
And what's crazy is that like, at least the story that I've heard from you is that you come from a place that is not very open-minded.
Yeah, I would say the community, definitely not.
And like, so like when you're thinking about opening your mind to like who Van could become even, or what the future could look like, it's like, I see a lot of people do this thing where it's like, you grow up into this like situation or environment that's really not conducive to your flourishing as a person because of, it doesn't allow you to be the full expression of your identity. But then they almost swing a pendulum of like, well, I'm just going to go to the exact opposite. Which is honestly just as harmful in my opinion. Maybe necessary because I went through that, but like, I'm noticing myself almost come back to this like third way of being. And that's been really interesting for me. And I'm curious about that for you. Like you're not just jumping into like another form of closed-mindedness. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like you're actively trying, this is another layer of the work that you're doing.
For sure.
Like you're actively trying to stay open-minded about things. And all people.
Well, I think the interesting thing is when I first started this, and like Emily can attest to this, like I jumped in. I never described it this way, but I jumped into like my identity piece and then was closed-minded to basically anything else that was going on because I needed to do that.
Which makes sense.
But to the detriment of my other relationships.
Yeah.
And so that was a conversation I had to have, not just with her and other people, but with myself. Was like, what is like, is it why am I delineating between the two?
Yeah.
Like, and is that like what I have to do? And what I realized was like, I didn't have to do that because like, and again, this took a lot longer. It took therapy. It took going back to Korea. But like, I've learned to like not live in the what ifs anymore. And I think I was doing that for a long time. And I think the way you just described it as like approaching it open-mindedly, I think in the what if scenario, you are closed-minded to a lot of things because one, you can't help yourself. Because these are things that you've lost or were taken from you.
There's grief.
Yeah, 100%. And so it's okay. And it's totally okay to go down and think those thoughts.
100%.
And like, that is also not reality.
Or sustainable.
Anymore. Yeah. And it's like, and it's okay to be able to think about those things every once in a while because you can't just not think about it. And it's like, I also can't live in the what if. Even if I were like, okay, I'm going to just leave everything. I'm going to abandon Van and Emily. I'm going to leave my parents. I'm going to move back to Korea and just do my own thing for myself, for whatever. That doesn't mean any of that is gone. No. We live in a time right now where people are trying to erase history. Yes. And here's the thing. History has already happened.
No, right.
You can erase the words. You can kill all the fucking people that are talking about it.
Yes.
But you're not... Okay, I said that. I shouldn't have said that. You can try and kill all the people that are talking about it, but the history lives on. Yeah. Because the history happened. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It lives in the earth. It lives in the soil. It lives in the air that we breathe. Yeah. Like those things that happened have already happened. And so like, I can't live in the what if. It doesn't make any of those things right. It doesn't absolve people of the abuse or the fraud or the wrongs that happened. It just means like, okay, I get it. And I'm like, I am not going to close myself off to the what ifs, but I'm also not going to live in that space and be closed off to the rest of my life.
Totally. And I think that's a part of integration to your own wholeness. Like you're becoming a more whole version of yourself, which is 100%. Why it's so beautiful that you're like, here's where I'm at. I'm tired and I'm still inspired. Like I'm tired. That is a part of you becoming whole. It's like that recognition. Sure. And it's just, it is tense though. And it's brave. And it's not something that everybody is willing. It's not a journey that everyone is willing to go down, is this idea of like, I'm going to work on becoming an integrated whole person.
Well, not everybody has the privilege to go down that journey too. I think like,
which is another thing that you're doing is creating access for people to be aware of what resources are out there. Because when you bring in educators and musicians and chefs and like you are also, so because from my perspective as a listener and engager in your work and also a part of your team is like you are actually showing people what's possible by having conversations with people who are super different than you and doing different work than you. So like Van is going to listen to your episodes and be like, I could be all sorts of things. Like that sort of thing for 6-year-old Patrick would have been so cool.
100%.
And so you're creating that. Yeah. And that like, these give me chills to think about like you're creating a world where access is possible on a very like accessible, like anybody can pull up.
Well, it's not even possible. It's just normal. Yes. Like we want to just normalize all of the things that people do. Yes. Maybe not the hateful stuff and the bigoted stuff. And expand people's imagination for what's possible then. Cause like what I think what I'm hearing you say is that what you want for the world is like restoration. You want there to be a sense of like, of connection within each other. And you're also trying to do this dance of like, but it's not possible in some spheres. And also, you know what I mean? Like you're balancing this dance of like all these different questions and doing it so skillfully. And so I don't know. I just want to reiterate that and regurgitate sort of what I'm hearing you say and what I have heard you say over the last 100+ episodes is like this idea of like wholeness and putting pieces of the puzzle together of like, so like, what does it look like for an educator and an activist and a chef to all be able to come to the same table and share a conversation like this? What does that look like? You know, and you've been the common thread through that. And so I guess I want to know what... Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, especially in history and now everything you're talking about, like history, I think this is something that people misunderstand about reparations. Reparations is about repairing the past and repairing things. Obviously, we can't go back and change it, but it's about acknowledging the past and then doing what we can to be accountable to that past.
Yes.
By By participating and holding ourselves accountable and going through reparations for the people that we have harmed, we can then restore the balance of like what human is and our relationship to the earth that we live on. And by going through reparations and restoring the place that we are and the people that we are, we can then step into a revolution about what it is that we can make. And so I'm all about collaboration right now because collaboration will allow us to go further. And I see so many things on Google and so many people writing articles about it. And then when I look at our like political system, for example, all I see is competition. And at the same time, people are competing for single votes to pass a bill that is going to lead to the direct deaths of many people. People were literally dying in Texas because of a very much preventable thing. And by preventable, I mean, we're not preventing the flooding, but we're preventing the deaths of people because 100%. We are appropriately staffed on the services and supports that would allow them to know, hey, we need to get the fuck out of here. But instead, we're competing over single votes. And that doesn't, to me, scream service.
No.
Not stewardship.
No.
That is active harm. And so the
Yeah.
world that I want to build is a world that's not only repaired what we can repair and be accountable to what we can be accountable or what we need to be accountable for and restore what we need to restore, but doing all of that will allow us to step into a more whole version of what we are as a species.
I'm curious, like my last question before we close out. Again, because I see you holding all of this so brilliantly and also doing it in a way that's like you just care about people, Patrick. Like that's beautiful, you know?
I appreciate that.
And like, I don't even say that to like blow smoke. Like seriously, like finding people who care about humanity is so important right now and who are not just trying to elevate their own platform or point of view. People who care, you know, like from a place of like from the gut, like I care about you and I care about where humanity's heading. And so I'm going to do something about it. In all of that, you've picked up a lot of stuff. What do you need to let go of right now?
Oh my God. I need to let go of the residual shame of the things that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing and then maybe not.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to let go of right now.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. I feel like we could talk for hours about.
That's the hard thing about podcasts.
Right. I know. Okay, wait. I actually do have one last fun question.
Yeah.
If your life had a theme song right now, what would it be?
Oh my God. My life's theme song right now is. Oh, now I'm just thinking about like literal songs that I've been listening to a lot. Okay, so my life theme song right now is the hip hop medley from Beat Pella House. They are a K-pop beatboxing group. Or Korean beatboxing group. Fire.
Can you link it in the show notes?
Yes, I will link it in the show notes.
Because I think people need to listen.
That is, it's like they go through 5 different songs. It's hip hop, but it's like, I don't know. It's that's my theme song right now.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love.
If you see me pulling up somewhere, I'm probably...
You're probably like, bop into that song. Okay, so as you know, we have a segment on the Conversation Piece podcast show called Give 'Em Your Flowers. Sponsored by me.
Sponsored by you.
Who do you want to give your flowers to?
I'm going to give my flowers to you, actually, because...
Thank you.
I'm really hung up on all that stuff that you said about me and wrote about me. And I feel like I only am hung up on it because like in the same vein, actually, because you even shared before, but you also shared on social media. So I'm not afraid to share this publicly that you were not having a great day yesterday. And generally when I see something like that, I'm getting ready to do something with people. I will reach out and be like, hey, we don't need to do this. And I didn't do that for some reason. So I apologize. But you showed up in here and like, I don't know. Again, I said at the top, I didn't know really what I was expecting, but like it wasn't that intro. And like, I think everything that you've been saying about me, I feel like I can say the same thing about you. And one thing that really, I think, stands out about what you do is the way your light shines through. And I think even when shit is dark, I feel like I don't know, something about your soul reaches out through the darkness. And again, I don't know that many people can just do that. And you do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like, I see a lot of people resonating with it. I see a lot of people wanting to figure out, how do I do the same thing? And not that those people aren't going to be able to do it in their own amazing way. You're just doing it right now. So like,
thank you.
Yeah. Like whenever I'm feeling low, especially if I'm scrolling a Madeline or Mackinnon or Frida's Flowers post, usually I can usually see the light in that.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
How can we support you?
After
this conversation?
So like last year, well, if you just listen to the show, and if you've been listening to the show,
yes, listen to the show.
If you've been listening or watching, subscribe to whatever or follow on whatever platform that is that you're doing, particularly YouTube, please. So those are the ways. I have a new show out called I Can't Wait. So if you're interested in cool people who do cool stuff, I drop that at the end of every month.
I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
I actually don't know who the guest is going to be for August or for July, but it's going to be a cool person. I already know. So. Also, speaking of, because I just said August, like we did last year, we're actually going to take a little break. So that way people can do their own thing and I can figure what I'm doing out. But for August, we won't have any new episodes, except for The Open Door. The Open Door will come out in August, and we will keep running that. And then after that, I think you're going to see some changes with the show a little bit, maybe in how we release, maybe in what we're doing and what we're covering. But stuff is going to be elevating a little bit. In addition to that, I am also running a monthly live conversation series called In Conversation With. This episode comes out the day after the other one. So never mind. In August, we're going to have a really great conversation somewhere in the city. So be tuned in for that. I think it drafts. So stay tuned in for that. But just another way to tap in with people and to have conversations like this and hopefully highlight cool spots around Indy.
I love it. I love it.
That's how you can support.
Love it. Well, you can find, again, like you said, new episodes of this show every Tuesday on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. So head to conversationpiece.pod.com for everything else Conversation Piece related. Let's not forget the team. We've got John Overton and Popular Rapture on the mics and Mike Lee and Mike Lee Productions behind the cameras. Shout out to the Stutz Building and Pattern for the space. And shout out to me and Frida's Flowers for sponsoring the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick for being an amazing guest. And last but not least, shout out to me again for hosting this show.
Double shout out. Worth it.
Right?
Boom.
This has been Conversation Piece. We'll see you soon.